The Punic Wars, fought between Rome and Carthage from 264 to 146 BCE, were a series of three conflicts that decided the fate of the Mediterranean. Rome, a rising power, clashed with Carthage, a wealthy maritime empire, over trade, territory, and dominance, setting the stage for an epic struggle. In 264 BCE, the First Punic War erupted over control of Sicily. A dispute in Messana drew Rome into conflict with Carthage, whose navy dominated the seas. What started as a local quarrel quickly escalated into a full-scale war for power and influence in the western Mediterranean. Rome, lacking a strong navy, reverse-engineered a wrecked Carthaginian ship to build its own fleet. By 260 BCE, they equipped their vessels with the corvus, a boarding device, turning naval battles into land-style fights where Roman soldiers could excel against Carthage's experienced sailors. In 260 BCE, Rome won its first naval victory at Mylae. Using the corvus, Roman ships boarded and overwhelmed Carthaginian vessels. This triumph boosted Roman confidence and proved they could challenge Carthage's dominance at sea, shifting the war's momentum in their favor. Despite Rome's gains, Carthage fought fiercely to protect its trade routes. In 256 BCE, their navy clashed with Rome off Sicily. The war dragged on, with both sides suffering heavy losses, as control of the seas remained critical to supplying troops and resources. In 256 BCE, the Battle of Ecnomus saw Rome's largest fleet yet defeat Carthage in a massive naval clash. With over 300 ships, Rome's strategy and numbers overwhelmed their foes, allowing them to invade North Africa and threaten Carthage's heartland directly. Roman general Regulus led an invasion of North Africa after Ecnomus, aiming to force Carthage to surrender. Initially successful, he won battles and captured cities, but overconfidence led to his defeat in 255 BCE by Carthaginian forces under Xanthippus, a Spartan mercenary. By 241 BCE, Rome's persistence paid off. After the Battle of the Aegates Islands, Carthage, exhausted and bankrupt, sued for peace. Rome gained Sicily and imposed heavy reparations, marking the end of the First Punic War and the start of its rise as a naval power. After losing Sicily, Carthage turned to Spain to rebuild its wealth and power. Under Hamilcar Barca, they conquered silver-rich territories by 237 BCE. This expansion alarmed Rome, who saw Carthage's recovery as a threat to their newfound dominance in the Mediterranean region. Hamilcar's son Hannibal grew up hating Rome. By 221 BCE, he took command in Spain, vowing to avenge Carthage's defeat. A brilliant strategist, he prepared for war, building an army and forging alliances, setting the stage for the Second Punic War's dramatic outbreak. In 218 BCE, Hannibal sparked the Second Punic War by attacking Saguntum, a Roman ally in Spain. Ignoring Rome's demands to stop, he boldly escalated tensions, aiming to bring the fight to Roman soil and challenge their growing empire directly with his daring tactics. In a legendary feat, Hannibal crossed the Alps into Italy in 218 BCE with his army, including war elephants. Facing snow, treacherous paths, and hostile tribes, he lost many men but stunned Rome by arriving on their doorstep ready to wage war. In December 218 BCE, Hannibal crushed Rome at the Battle of Trebia. Using clever tactics, he lured Roman forces into a trap, ambushing them with hidden troops. The freezing river and Carthage's cavalry ensured a devastating defeat for Rome's unprepared legions. In 217 BCE, Hannibal struck again at Lake Trasimene. He ambushed a Roman army in thick fog, trapping them against the lake. Thousands died and Rome reeled from the loss, as Hannibal's genius continued to outmatch their commanders in Italy. Roman dictator Fabius Maximus adopted a new strategy in 217 BCE, avoid direct battles with Hannibal. Known as the Delayer, he harassed Hannibal's supply lines, wearing him down. Though unpopular, this cautious approach slowed Carthage's momentum across the Italian countryside. In 216 BCE, Hannibal delivered his masterpiece at Cannae. Facing a larger Roman army, he encircled and annihilated them, killing up to 70,000 in one day. This catastrophic loss left Rome vulnerable, yet Hannibal couldn't march on the city itself. Despite Cannae, Rome refused to surrender. They raised new armies, fortified their city, and relied on allies. Hannibal, unable to besiege Rome or gain enough support in Italy, found his victories hollow as Rome's stubborn resistance began to turn the tide against him. Young Roman general Scipio emerged as a key figure by 211 BCE. After surviving Cannae, he honed his skills in Spain, defeating Carthaginian forces there. His strategic brilliance and charisma made him Rome's best hope to counter Hannibal's dominance in the war. In 209 BCE, Scipio captured New Carthage, Carthage's Spanish capital. With a daring assault, he seized its wealth and supplies, crippling Hannibal's support base. This victory showcased Scipio's talent and shifted the war's focus away from Italy to Carthage's territories. By 207 BCE, Hannibal's campaign in Italy weakened. Without reinforcements from Spain, cut off by Scipio's victories, he struggled to hold ground. His brother Hasdrubal's defeat at Metaurus further isolated him, leaving Carthage's dreams of crushing Rome increasingly out of reach. In 204 BCE, Scipio boldly invaded North Africa, threatening Carthage itself. Landing near Utica, he aimed to draw Hannibal back home. This aggressive move forced Carthage to recall their greatest general, setting the stage for a final showdown between the two powers. In 202 BCE, Hannibal faced Scipio at Zama. Outmaneuvered, his elephants turned against him, and Scipio's cavalry sealed Carthage's fate. Hannibal's first major defeat ended the Second Punic War, with Rome emerging as the Mediterranean's unrivaled power and Carthage humbled. After Zama, Carthage surrendered in 201 BCE. Rome imposed harsh terms, loss of territories, a massive indemnity, and a reduced navy. Hannibal fled into exile while Rome's victory solidified its dominance, paving the way for further expansion across the ancient world. Despite defeat, Carthage slowly rebuilt its trade and economy by 150 BCE. Without a military, it posed no direct threat, but its growing wealth worried Rome. Roman senators, led by Cato, demanded action, fearing Carthage might one day challenge their supremacy again. In 149 BCE, Rome declared the Third Punic War, claiming Carthage broke treaty terms. This time it was a war of annihilation. Rome besieged Carthage, determined to erase its rival forever, driven by paranoia and a desire for total control of the Mediterranean. For 3 years, from 149 to 146 BCE, Rome besieged Carthage. The city's defenders fought desperately, but Roman forces, led by Scipio Aemilianus, breached the walls. Street-by-street combat raged as Carthage faced its final, brutal stand against Rome's relentless assault. In 146 BCE, Carthage fell. Scipio Aemilianus ordered it burned and razed to the ground. Survivors were enslaved, and the once great city became a Roman province. This marked the end of Carthage as a power and the Third Punic War's grim conclusion. With Carthage destroyed, Rome annexed North Africa, adding it to their growing empire. By 146 BCE, they also conquered Greece, cementing their status as the Mediterranean's supreme power. The Punic Wars had transformed Rome from a republic into an unstoppable imperial force. Hannibal's legacy endured despite his defeat. His daring tactics, especially at Cannae, inspired military leaders for centuries. Though Carthage fell, his name lived on as a symbol of brilliance and resistance against Rome's overwhelming might in the Punic Wars. The Punic Wars changed Rome itself. Wealth from conquests flooded in, widening the gap between rich and poor. Military success bred ambition, setting the stage for Rome's transition from a republic to an empire, with consequences that would echo through history. Though destroyed, Carthage left a mark. Its trade networks influenced Rome's economy, and its fall taught Rome the value of total victory. The Punic Wars showed how rivalry could reshape civilizations, with Carthage's ruins a testament to Rome's ruthless rise. The Corvus, Rome's naval innovation from the First Punic War, symbolized their adaptability. Though abandoned later, it showed how Rome turned weaknesses into strengths, a trait that carried them through all 3 wars and beyond in their quest for dominance. Hamilcar Barca's dream of a Carthaginian resurgence in Spain laid the groundwork for Hannibal's campaign. His foresight and ambition fueled the Second Punic War, proving Carthage's resilience even after their initial defeat, though it ultimately led to their doom. Scipio Africanus became a Roman hero after Zama. His victory over Hannibal earned him fame, and his strategic genius influenced Roman military tradition. He embodied Rome's ability to produce leaders who could match and surpass even Carthage's greatest commanders. The Punic Wars redrew the Mediterranean map. Rome's triumph over Carthage shifted trade, power, and culture toward Italy, ending centuries of Carthaginian influence. This new order laid the foundation for Rome's dominance over the region for centuries to come. Hannibal's war elephants became iconic in the Punic Wars. Though many died crossing the Alps or failed at Zama, their sheer audacity captured imaginations, symbolizing Carthage's bold challenge to Rome and adding a mythic flair to the conflict's history. Roman Senator Cato the Elder famously ended every speech with "Carthage must be destroyed." His relentless push from 150 BCE fueled the Third Punic War, reflecting Rome's fear and determination to erase their rival, even when Carthage posed little real threat. Naval supremacy decided the Punic War's outcome. From Rome's Corvus in the First War to their fleet's dominance in the Third, control of the seas allowed Rome to outlast and outmaneuver Carthage, proving ships were as vital as swords in this struggle. The Punic Wars were as much about wealth as power. Carthage's trade empire funded its armies, while Rome's conquests brought riches that fueled their expansion. The victor claimed not just land but the economic dominance that sustained their growing empire. Alliances shaped the war's course. Carthage relied on Spanish tribes and Numidians, while Rome leaned on Italian allies. Shifts like Numidia's betrayal at Zama proved decisive, showing how diplomacy and loyalty could tip the scales in this ancient conflict. The Punic Wars claimed countless lives, soldiers, civilians, and entire cities. From Canna's slaughter to Carthage's destruction, the human toll was immense, reflecting the brutal stakes of this clash between two civilizations fighting for survival and supremacy in the ancient world. War spurred innovation. Rome's Corvus, siege engines, and improved ships emerged from the Punic Wars, while Carthage refined their own tactics. These advances not only won battles but shaped military technology for centuries, leaving a lasting mark on warfare's evolution. Rome used fear of Carthage to rally support. Tales of Hannibal's cruelty and Cato's warnings stoked public resolve. Propaganda painted Carthage as an existential threat, justifying the wars and Rome's ultimate decision to wipe their rival off the map entirely. Though rarely mentioned, women played roles in the Punic Wars. In Carthage, they supported defenses during the final siege, while Roman women managed homes as men fought. Their unseen contributions sustained both sides through years of relentless conflict and hardship. Numidian cavalry, led by King Massinissa, switched from Carthage to Rome before Zama. Their speed and skill turned the battle, showing how local allies could sway the Punic Wars' outcome, tipping the balance in Rome's favor at a critical moment. Religion influenced the Punic Wars. Rome saw victories as divine favor from Jupiter, while Carthage sacrificed to Baal for strength. These beliefs drove morale, with both sides interpreting omens and gods as signs of their destined triumph or defeat. The wars scarred the land. Armies burned fields, felled forests for ships, and disrupted trade routes. Sicily, Spain, and North Africa bore the brunt, with long-lasting effects on agriculture and ecosystems, a hidden cost of Rome and Carthage's brutal struggle. The Punic Wars taught Rome that mercy could be weakness. Carthage's destruction in 146 BCE became a model for total victory, influencing Rome's later conquests. This ruthless lesson shaped their empire, ensuring no rival would rise again as Carthage had. The Punic Wars resonate through time. Hannibal's tactics inspired generals, Rome's rise warns of ambition's cost, and Carthage's fall mourns a lost civilization. This epic clash remains a cornerstone of history, showing how wars can redefine the world for millennia. The Punic Wars, from 264 to 146 BCE, were more than battles, they were a turning point. Rome's victory over Carthage forged an empire, reshaped the Mediterranean, and left lessons of strategy, resilience, and power that still echo in our understanding of history today.